You sound super clear and crisp on my end.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, it's between this mic, the noise suppressor, and a bunch of other shit that I put into, and the audio interface that makes it very sound like that.
Ah,
You wait until you hear the final product of this episode. You're gonna hear exactly how I really sound. How it's supposed to sound,
awesome.
basically. So, how's it going, man? How's it going, man? What's cracking? What's popping?
Nothing new. I mean, working pretty hard on this big surprise I got that'll probably come out before this interview does. Not sure. January 15th, we have a little mini festival that we're hosting in Miami. We have a
Mm.
pretty fire lineup, mix of dubstep, experimental house.
Oh shit. We're bringing a lot of people around that genre.
Yeah, so I mean, our major dubstep event is going to be happening later in probably March or May.
Mm.
Still finalizing that, but our headliner right now is mostly experimental. So, but I'm gonna be playing dubstep. We got Jay Poach on the lineup. He's gonna be playing dubstep, and it's gonna be a great time.
That's what's up. What's this whole about experimental, man? What, like, I've heard of it, but I just don't know what genre can you define it. Like, where do you go with that?
So I guess a good way to explain experimental bass, it has like hip hop foundation, but
Mm.
it's like dubstep, but like slow tempo, more 808s, less kicks, and the bass lines and drops are a lot more. I guess I can't say bass heavy because dubstep is bass heavy as well, but it's more like sustained basses and like sub frequencies and super like low like music, whereas dubstep is more upbeat and 150 is like commonplace, but experimental can go as low as like 120, 140. It's good. I recommend it. I could toss some people your way that you would listen to and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Peekaboo?
Yeah, I know Peekaboo.
That's experimental bass. Like,
Oh, but that's hybrid trap.
yeah, that's another good way of putting it. Yeah, it has a lot of trap elements.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like you say, it's a lot of sustained sounds, and with the hip hop elements on top of it. Yeah, that's like hybrid trap all around.
That's cool. I gotta look more into hyper trap. It's an interesting genre to put it in.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists actually do that stuff, from Peekaboo and all the way to back then back in my day when we were starting out. Oof, those were the days in which a lot of people were starting to blow up. Uzi, Hoochie, Floss. Floss were one of those pioneers. GTA as well. Carnage. Carnage. I have mixed feelings about that, but he was around at that time. Fucking Bro Safari, etc., and all those guys. Yeah, all those guys that were into Moomaton and does the festival trap. Yeah, they were all part of that whole hypertrap experience. Even bigger artists has tried it out, like Zomboy and such.
Yeah, I guess, but Carnage, GTA, and Floss wouldn't technically be experimental based. Like they do hype trap. I get what you mean, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to send you some tracks. I like that we're exploring experimental bass because it's like a little genre in itself.
Hey, I'm all about new genres, man. I mean, look at fucking dubstep. Dubstep has how many subgenres right now? Now we're into the color based future rhythm era right now, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, I like color bass.
I mean, it's a better. I say it's a better version of rhythm. Like I will take this over rhythm any other given day.
Yeah, it definitely depends who you're listening to. I mean, Skybreak is a big color bass artist that's coming up right now, and
Oof.
he's throwing some tracks out there that are fire.
Shout out to Skybreak, man. That's the homie, man. Not too long ago, I just did an interview on him, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's actually, well, by the time this episode is getting released, it's already been released, the Skybreak interview. So yeah, he was a very chill, humble person, man. I love him, man. I love his energy, and you can tell like his spirit and his energy towards it is like very like into it. But at the same time, he's at college, so he's very dedicated at doing two things at the same time, which is like it's pretty cool, man. When the episode is out, now you can go ahead and check it out. It's actually
That's
pretty.
fire. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a very, very, very cool episode, and very in depth in the eyes of an up and comer, especially like him when he started out not too long ago, and how he grinded his game all the way to where he is right now, where he's blowing up little by little. His first actual tour is about to start not too soon, like next month. Next month he's gonna start his first tour with Darwin, or is it Davin? Keep forgetting his name. But he's like one of those melodic guys, you know? And it's gonna be his first tour of the day. It's gonna be his fourth show overall. So
Oh, it's very exciting.
yeah, so
I hope he stops by Miami.
he did mention me that he was actually passing by Florida, but it was two areas in Florida that he was passing by, and one of them was in Orlando. And he says that that's like the furthest he's gonna go over to Florida. I'm like, damn, like you're like 3 hours away from me, but you know, when you go there, I'll be there to support you, man. So
that's one of the things and reasons that we started doing like dubstep events down here in Miami, because it's tragic the way that all these dubstep artists will like have shows in Florida, and the lowest they'll go is Tampa, Orlando, maybe Boca if we're lucky. But they always skip Miami on their tours, and that has to change because Miami's the spot. Like if you're any DJ, that doesn't have to just be dubstep. Like if you're a DJ, you're gonna want to play at Miami. Like This is the spot. So that's why we got to start bringing more of those heads down here. Have some more shows that have dubstep in them.
I agree, bro. But I always wondered, where is it a good place in which, you know, you normally will want to put any of these bass heads over in Miami, you know? Like, do we have to put them on a club like Club Space or something like that, or Treehouse? Or do you think there could be a better place that's better off suited for them and for the target audience that could come over?
Absolutely. There are so many better places for these DJs to be performing at. Club Space doesn't even do bass music anymore. Shout out to them.
Wow.
They have some great artists, but no bass, no dubstep. Treehouse has dubstep on Thursdays, but everyone that wants dubstep wants to listen on the weekend. They want to go on Saturdays. It's out in Miami Beach, and it's also a venue that's max like 100, 200 people, which is very intimate. But then you have people like Leveled Up, who you could see are so used to performing in front of thousands of people, and then they come to this small venue in Miami Beach, and they're like, haha, well, we're going to have a great time, but it's not what I'm used to. These DJs, these dubstep DJs deserve a venue where they're in front of like 1,000, 2,000 people somewhere in Wynwood or even Hialeah, South Miami, more central, where all the bass heads are, and it's like throw down in front of 1,000, 2,000 people, full production, lasers, LED screens. That's what we're working towards so that we can bring it to the DJs.
That's actually pretty dope, man. I like to hear that, man. Because back in my days, when I was starting out back in 2015 to 2018, those are the times that I was very active here in South Florida. All we had was at the time Heart Nightclub, Space, if any was Space, you know, Club Cinema.
I've heard a lot of good things about Club Cinema, but they're not around anymore.
Club Cinema was the shit. I mean, my first and last show that I've ever performed as a DJ was at Club Cinema, ironically. Both on prime time, you know?
When was the last time you DJ'd?
2017 at the summer, beginning of the summer, around there. It was Borgor show. It was definitely at the Borgor show. That was my last time that I ever performed, because at that time, that's where I quit being a promoter with at the time Apex. Shout out to those guys who treated me great, and Lucho as well. I was with Apex and I quit being a promoter because at the time, you know, I got signed with a manager, and my manager just like, yo, like you're starting to pop out little by little, and you're about to go around with meeting other artists. You're working with them. You're climbing. Like, it's time for you to stop being a promoter and start acting and being an artist and true artist. And these guys should be booking it. I'm like, all right, bet. So I basically did my last show with then sold whatever tickets I got left and send them the rest. And I did my last show. I gave them my last final send off, and it was the most heaviest set that I've ever done in my life at that time before I quit and did a bunch of projects. You know. There are times in which like I miss it. I said times I really missed it a lot. Me being a DJ and be able to perform with some of my homies and even some of my homies that I work with. But you know, at the same time, it's like I already fulfilled my goal. If you get what I mean, you know, like I already performed at festivals. I performed on festivals, sold out festivals, big ass festivals. like Sunset and Life in Color, and then over in my hometown in Puerto Rico, Dreamland at the time. And I've been to a bunch of shows. I open up for a bunch of artists. I talk to them, I cooperate with them. Like at that point, I would feel like I'm actually fulfilled. Now I just want to do the whole touring aspect, but it didn't took off for a number of reasons. So we could get there later. But yeah, that was probably my last time. Will I ever come back to DJ again? Absolutely. Like if anybody invites me to DJ, I'll absolutely fucking do it. And I'll bring up the heat. I'll bring out some of the most unreleased tracks that I've never released, and one of the most proudest tracks that I've ever created, because everything is being original to the teeth and it's all original sounds. So like I'm very proud of it. I can't wait to do that. Am I desperate about it? Nah, because I've been DJing for over 15 years. Like I already got my kick at it, Now I'm more focused into this podcast game, This is my thing. This is my calling call. So it's like once I found this, it's like nothing can make me happy other than this, So that's where I am right now, And once in a while, I just do a little production songs here and there. Last month, I just released my first single in over 2 years that I've been inactive on music, And I had a lot of people playing it, which is I was like, wow, cool. Not expecting much. I was just like, all right, cool. You like it? Play it. All right, cool. I appreciate the support. That's all I need. Nah, that's fine. It's still out there,
That's awesome. I'd love to hear your song, man, and I'd love to get you on a lineup too, since we're doing these regularly. But that brings me to another question: what inspired you to start doing these podcasts? I see you're very passionate about it.
To be honest, I've been listening to podcasts. Like I've been living in Miami so far for 7 years, and at least out of those 7 years, probably like 5 of them I've been listening to podcasts. I've been listening to all sorts of podcasts, and whether it's comical, educational, EDM purposes, I guess real reason why I started doing my podcast is because I always felt like I need to be the voice of something, like I felt like every time I'm around people, there's times in which I know some dirty little things and I cannot voice my opinion about it because I may say the wrong thing or somebody might take it the wrong way. And I'm like, I'm as honest as you can get me, I don't like, having stuff bottled up. And I've been bottling up for a long, long time. And I just needed something to escape, something to just blah, all the shit that I know and all the shit that's happening. And at the same time, I'm a very educational person that I like to educate people in the most respectful way, in the most helpful way, let the people know that's before me to know, like, here are all the things that I've done in my life. These are all the experience. This is all the fucking shit that I had to deal with. And these are all the fucking shit that you may have to deal with. But you may probably avoid it if I tell you some of the stuff, how to avoid it, I give you examples of what happened to me. I interview people who are in the industry, artists, filmmakers, cosplayers, YouTubers, you name it. They come over here and I tell them and just basically blew out their experience, And then that's where I go. It's like, see, guys, it's not me. These guys are experiencing the same thing, and it's probably the same thing that you guys are experiencing. So I'm just trying to teach you guys, show you the roads, because when have you seen an artist, a well-established artist, let's put it out, a well-established artist that's given his time to tell people how the game really works? When have you heard one? Or do you know?
It's rare. Yeah, no.
Maybe 1, 2? Why is it 1 or 2? Why is it none? You get what I'm saying? Like, how can some of these guys who are well established don't talk about these certain struggles? Like the struggles that they say, like, oh yeah, I've been, it took me years to get to where I am, but if you push harder, you get there. It's like, dude, I hear that shit all the fucking time in every fucking interview. I don't need to hear that. No, I want to hear your fucking experience when you started out all the way to where you are. I want to hear the part that you were struggling as an artist. I want to hear the part that, oh, fuck, like, I don't even know when it's my next meal. I had 20 other things and I only had 2 hours of production, but I did that consistently until I make it to where I am right now. Stuff like that. Like, I want to hear those stories, Like, and if you check out my previous ones, nitty gritty did a splendid job on talking about this. Shindo did an amazing job. Big and Slim. Some of the other artists, Plasma does that. Skybreak, just recently in an interview, he explains it very deeply. And I want to hear those stories, you know? And I want people to hear those stories as well, you know? Because people need to hear about it. Because it's such that the fact that, you know, you start doing mistakes, but it's not because you're intentionally making the mistake. No, it's because you don't know. You don't know. Nobody up there came down to you and mentored you in a way or show you the ropes or tell you it's like, hey, this is not how we do things. This is how we do things, you know? Here's a way how to fix this. Here's how you can do this. Yada, yada. Do. Very hard to find them. And there probably are none. Of course, can knock down to the people who actually does the masterclass or private tutorings, and they may actually tell you something, but they all have a price, you know? Not knocking down their hustle. They do their thing. If you gotta get your money, go get your money and show people how to sound design and all that shit. I've done it before. Not knocking that out. But what I'm saying is like this type of information that I'm saying and that my podcast is saying is free. I'm telling you for free because I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to learn, you know, how to approach people, how to send properly emails, how to not show desperate, how to like, you know, stop sending demos to these labels. Do it this other way, you know, get your shit together like this, you know. I'm trying to help the little guy or the guy who doesn't have a voice, you know. I'm trying to be the voice for those guys, you know. A wise man learns from his own mistakes. A wiser man learns from other people's mistakes. So I'm trying to make sure that people who comes over to my show and people who wants to talk to my show, who wants to listen to my show, become the wiser man than me. Because that's how I'm looking at it. I'm a very wise man. I don't know if I can say I'm a wiser man per se, but I do learn a lot from other people's mistakes. Because there's a lot of things that I've seen from my own homies, local homies, that make plenty of mistakes that if those mistakes would have been corrected or somebody would have told them otherwise, they probably would have been big. They probably would have been much more established. They probably would have conquered their goals. But because of that, nobody told them. They're stuck where they are right now. They're not progressing. So I want everybody to progress, you know? I don't care what everybody tells me about the industry. It's like, oh, there's too many people. It's like, no, there's room to eat. There's definitely room to eat. Anybody who tells me that the industry is very oversaturated, like, no, because that's the same logic, like what, 20 years ago, 10 years ago? That was the same mentality. It's like, oh, the industry is oversaturated. And all of a sudden, we got so many pop artists popping out left and right. We got, how many boy bands do we had at the 10, 20 years ago? Think about it. How many Britney Spears and Christina Aguileras we had in our time? How many Katy Perrys, you know? How many Keishas? Like, and look where we are now, and we still keep popping. So people telling me like it's oversaturated, it's like, nah, bro, there's enough to read. Because if it was oversaturated, then we'd be listening to the same Backstreet Boys all over again. You know, we'll be listening to the same people since then they were coming up. You know, so this is why I'm very passionate about this show. You know, this is why I love podcasting, man, because it gives me enough time to explain myself and talk, having these conversations with others, and it gives us, and there's no time frame. We can talk for as long as we want, as long as we get the point there, you know, as long as we get the details right, the facts right, you know, because let's say I want to do this on a YouTube basis, like YouTube videos. What's the average view for YouTubes? Normally it takes you like what, 10 minutes. You want me to give you a 10-minute explanation to how the industry works?
Hey, I got time.
Like, shit, bro, that's a lot. That's a lot of information that you're trying to condense it in a smaller version. And I'm pretty sure that there's people out there that are doing a better job than me doing it in 10 minutes. Problem to those guys is that they leave some parts here and there that you don't notice. And then at the end, it gives you that question, but why? Why this and why that? And then you go down in the comments down below, hoping for somebody to answer. And sometimes, miraculously, it'll be the person who's answering, the YouTuber. And then sometimes it's other people answering. But most of the time, you just want to hear from the YouTuber who says who's been in the industry, right? You want to hear from it because that was the answer. But why leave with that question? Why leave with that questioning mine. It's like, but why? How? You left so many openings. See, that's the problem with it. That's why I turn it into a podcast, because at least I can spend a good 40 minutes talking to myself, explaining some of the issues, topics. Like if you look at my previous episodes, like if you see like the first 5 episodes, I believe, like, I don't know when was it that I got my first guest. It was probably at episode 10. But if you see my first episodes, it's all me. Under 30 minutes, 40 minutes, under an hour, all me. Different topics, all related to the industry, all related to my experience with the industry, but they're very detailed. Stuff that you really want to like grab a note and just like write it down. It's like, ooh, next time if I'm going to write an email to somebody, I know how to write it, how to tell them, how to approach them, And sometimes some of these guys that I interviewed, they tell you straight out, I was like, yo, like I just did this and this is how it worked. Blueprints out there. Now, I may say not every blueprint out there is going to work the same, because you can give me Jay-Z's blueprint and I can follow every little detail from Jay-Z's blueprint, but I may not have the same results as Jay-Z did, You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I can have it. It's right there. And it could be used as a reference. It could be a show, but I can't tell you whether it's going to be the same as me. Everybody has their own lane. You may use some reference from other people's here and there, but everybody has their own lane and their own pace of how to get there. So that's where we are.
Yeah, it's a very noble thing you're doing, that you're trying to like educate people on the industry and share your experiences. So give me a little more. I mean, I'm sure you've already talked about it a lot in your podcast, but tell me a bit about your journey from like your start of listening to EDM, how you discovered dubstep, like who's your first favorite dubstep artist, and how'd you got into producing and DJing, and then eventually, I guess, you got into the podcast. But before then, like your journey.
Yeah, basically, it's very simple. I've been DJing, like I said, I've been DJing for 15 years. I'm 32 right now. So I've been DJing since I was in my 15s, in my teenage years, And I was always passionate about music. I was always passionate about technology and music overall. Like I always said, like I want to be a DJ, and I became a DJ at an early age, starting doing my own private parties and birthdays, quinceañeros, and proms, after proms, and then I leveled myself up to clubs, and then from clubs to Miami, and then Miami to radios, festivals, and more clubs, shit like that. Like, and then started to do touring outside of Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Tallahassee. It's a wild ride that I did. What got me into bass music, I think it was because obviously Skrillex. Skrillex is like the OG, bro. Like, I'm pretty sure you were young at that time when Skrillex around in 2010 and 2011, right?
I had to have been in middle school when I heard my first Skrillex song.
Right. So I was already college at that time, So Skrillex became my first guy, and then after that, I want to do EDM, but I didn't know where to. So I started with house, because house. I'm not throwing shade to you house guys. Anybody who's a listener who's into house, I'm not throwing shade to you guys what I'm about to say. So, but I always believe that house is a very easy genre to start off, to learn and to make. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey, I mean, I enjoy house. Mixing house is very smooth and fluent, so I could see where you're coming from. Whereas bass is a lot more, predetermined and more strategic.
Right.
When it comes to like mixing.
Yeah. So I started going around with that big room era, when Martin Garrix and the Rehab and these other guys were going on with the Tsunamis and shit and whatnot. And I started with that whole genre, and then I started practicing. I started doing my DJ sets, but yada yada yada. But I always felt like it's not challenging enough for me. So it's like I need something that motivates me even more. I need something that's much more of a challenge that I can actually like go ahead and kill it, or gets me hyped up and pumped. Because when you're at a 128, there are times in which you get bored because you're basically playing the whole entire song. So there's not that much of mixing. There's not that much of movement. Whereas dubstep and trap and future bass and Mumbai and festival, however you want to call it, there's a lot of movements, and there's a lot of more of DJing involved in that. So definitely that got me started, and that's how I started going up in that route. I left the EDM route by the time I started working with Apex, which was Committee at the time. And before I got my first show on Jello Claw, that's like where I started to transition myself from being the what it was house into the fully bass producer that I am right now. I was never like, oh, I'm exclusive to house or I'm exclusive to bass. Like, no, I was always open to listen to everybody. I like listening EDM as a whole. Except for the housey shit. Like that I cannot understand. I cannot stand it. It's too much for me, man. It's the same limbo all over again. And then techno, don't get me started with techno, bro. Like techno and rhythm are like two of the things that bro, I need more creativity in that. I need more variety on that. It's the same bar loop over and over for the past I don't know how many minutes because like you never knew that it changed and you're like, wait, this is a different song? I thought it was the same one. Oh no, it's a different one. When did this happen? I didn't hear the switch. When did this switch happen? So,
Yeah, house is very fluid in that sense. But so tell me some of your favorite artists then. Who are some of your inspirations right now?
3 people. Rob Swire from Knife Party and Pendulum. He's the lead singer of both of them. Zomboy, Josh Melody, and Skrillex. Those are my 3 top artists. If I ever gonna put my 3 top guys who I've ever followed, those are my top people. Yeah,
they're incredibly talented people. They're good. They're a good top 3. Zomboy especially. I mean, Skrillex mixing wise, his DJing is incredible, and Zomboy production wise, his producing is insane.
It's ridiculous what Zomboy is, bro. Like Zomboy and his level of mixing is just like, dude, how the fuck can you make it so tight and clean? This whole space, like, how the fuck you do that, bro? And he does it like perfectly, like no other. Well, probably like anybody who could compare to him was Virtual Riot, and Virtual Riot is just a god that walks among humans.
Yeah, he's the man. Have you been seeing his post recently about his polymery, or how do you say? What's the word? So, I'm so excited to be the first one to tell you about this. So his girlfriend has had a boyfriend. I don't know all the full details. I'm not sure how. I'm going to try to be as correct as possible. And I also don't know the correct terminology.
All right. As long as you put that disclaimer, so that way people won't comment down to you. It's like, no, you're wrong. You're saying it wrong. It's like, calm down, guys. Calm down. This is what we heard.
I'm new on this lingo and this, and at the end of the day, it is rumors. But he has posted very open and honest about it, and I love everything about it. And I'm very happy for him and his. I guess you could say his relationships. So his wife has had a boyfriend for about a year now, is what I hear, and they're very open to that. They're happy about it. They enjoy it. He also has had a girlfriend for a while now, and so him and his wife and his girlfriend are now having sort of this like polyamorous relationship where the 3 of them are together in a very happy, open way. Hey, like that is awesome. Like we just said, like the man's a god walking amongst men. Here he is with 2 girls on his shoulder, and they're very comfortable and happy with their position, and everyone is happy with how they're doing it. I mean, his wife, and their girlfriend is also married. So the girlfriend they have, yeah, I know. This is like a huge, like, I don't know how their Thanksgiving dinners are gonna look, but everyone is really. It must be a wild ride, but hey, like if that is what they're into, I respect it wholeheartedly, and I like how they're breaking the lines that have been drawn for so long, where like this is how relationships have to be, like this is what is like normal, and they're just like doing what they feel is right.
Jesus, that's
surprise. I'm so happy I was the first one to tell you about this because it's very interesting new information on the scene.
Damn, that explains a lot. That kind of explains I don't remember last time I saw his post on Instagram, but I saw that his wife and his girlfriend, I guess at the time, I thought it was just a friend, but they were hugging each other out, being happy and being lovey about shit, and then they were just taking pictures with him and whatnot. At that time, I was just like, oh, I guess they're good friends or whatnot. And then the way they were posting each other, like hugging and this, I'm like, huh, they kind of a little free to be, friends, right? I was like, okay. That's them. That's on them. But wow, I didn't know that was the whole situation that was happening.
Yup.
Dude. And wait a minute. So the wife, you said that wife had a boyfriend? Whatever happened to that boyfriend?
So he's still around, but I'm not sure how deep he is in the actual group relationship that's going on between. So like their girlfriend has a husband, but he's not connected to the polyamorous relationship. I think like Virtual Riot, Miss Nico, and the girl are the ones that are all interested in each other.
Right.
Whereas Miss Nico is the only one that's interested in her boyfriend, and the girlfriend, who I don't know her name, is the only one interested in her own husband. But those three, Virtual Riot, Miss Nico, and their girlfriend, are the ones that are all interested in each other.
Lucky son of a bitch.
He is not just the king of dubstep. The man is a king and god in a lot of several respects.
Holy fucking ballsack. Like, God, he must have balls of steel. Like, his dick must be made out of gold for that shit. Like, what the fuck? Yo, listen, I'm happy with my fiance, the one and only. She's already enough for me. I don't need another headache in my life.
So how long have you guys been engaged?
Couple of months we've been engaged. We've been together for two.
Oh my God.
2 years. Amazing. 2 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We got engaged on September, The wedding, don't ask me about the wedding. I don't know when the wedding is. It's like when we get there, we get there.
Yeah, no, baby steps, I imagine.
Yeah, bro, like let me just like find a new place for us, and then we'll get to the wedding part, okay?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you, man. So we've been talking a lot about me, man, and nothing about you, which is like, the world's kind of reversed in this part, man.
Yeah, there's a lot I wanted to learn about you. You've been in the scene a lot longer than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah, bro, and I know a lot more than you imagine. I mean, you can ask me for any fuck shit, and I can tell you yes or no, and I probably heard of this, stuff like that. I've been telling everybody. People believe that I've been on the scene for like as long as I've been living in Miami. Like, no, guys, like I've been on this nightclub scene since Puerto Rico. So it's like you can give a guess. Like I've been over a decade in this scene, dude. And
wow.
And even for me, I looked at that. It's like, damn, is it really a decade? Like, oh shit, it really is. I started clubbing and entering the nightclub scene at 2010. We're by 2021 right now. So I've been on this game for a long time, and I've been like, damn, I didn't realize that was a lot of years of me going through bullshit and crap. Oh my God, there's just so much crap to talk about, man. There's just so much. But, I'll give you a fair shot. Like, ask me anything, and I can give you a most honest answer that I can give you. At least the most I can, to my knowledge.
Okay, that's cool. Damn, that really opens the floor up to a lot of questions, though. My mind is racing right now.
Hey, man, like I'm an open book, and everything I said is in the public. So people who try to say like, oh, Wolfson said this and they screenshot at me, I'm like, yeah, guys, like I know what the fuck you guys said. You don't need to screenshot at me. Like I know what I said and I stand behind it, Like tell me otherwise that I'm wrong. I mean, prove me that I'm wrong. People have tried, but they failed to succeed because I actually bring evidence, experience, and facts, and a lot of other bull crap. But no, most of the time I'm just Wolfson, the crazy guy who wears a tinfoil hat, Like he's talking nonsense, like UFO shit. I'm just that type of person that they say. But I said, I bet when the shit happens, when the shit hits the fan, I'm gonna be gloating the whole fucking time in my social media. I'll be like, I fucking told you. And I'm gonna come over to the show and say, I fucking told you. Like, oh yeah, I'm very petty in that sense. I'm very petty. Cause like I'm not gonna let it go, bro. Like you call me out, you say I'm wrong. It's like, I bet. Let's see what happens. Shit happens.
Yeah, I feel you. No, it feels good to be right though, right?
Oh, it feels amazing to be right, and to prove these motherfuckers wrong, it's like, oh, that's the shit, bro. It's so that way they can literally stop talking shit. Like, stop talking stuff that you fucking don't know. Stop talking nonsense. Stop lying to people. I hate that. I hate people who are liars. Like, fuck sakes, why do we need to lie? Like, just be honest about things. That's why I am who I am, Like, I am upfront and honest all around, dude. I hold tongue to no one, including to my fiance, which is sometimes my fiance tells me, it's like, dude, at least lie to me once. Just I don't need this truth bombs all the time about this shit. Like, come on, at least soften the blow a little bit. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to soften the blow. It's in me. I gotta say it like that. But that's why she loves me,
Yeah, that's an incredible quality to have. If I could give one advice to anyone that's like doing anything in the industry, trying to make it anywhere and anything, not even just in music, the number one rule is to be honest. Because if you're honest with yourself and with others, that is very clear, and it just like gets you where you're supposed to be, where you're meant to be. And yeah, like lying always comes out in some way. Like if you lie, people will find
in some shape of way or form. People will find out, some way, somehow. Especially now, the era that we're living right now, where everybody's all about cancel culture shit. Like, everybody gets canceled very quickly. They dig up stuff from your past. It's like, oh, you said this. Oh, you're this. You're a narcissist. Oh, you're misogynistic. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're an abuser. Lied. And I'm like, whoa, holy crap. You had literally nothing else to do with your goddamn life for you to scroll all the way 10 years ago from the first tweeters to find that post. But kudos for you finding that post. Now we know that this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, in the era of social media, there honestly is no lying, because everything is out there, and if you're not being honest about it, you're being quiet about it. So,
and I'm trying to be the loudest in a sense, and like, I'm not being quiet about my stuff. Like, I am who I am, and that's how I am. Like, so people don't even look at me. It's like, oh, Wolfson's very quiet about this topic. I was like, no, I said my piece. I just sometimes I like to talk about it in the podcast, but I don't need to discuss it in the fucking comment section. Like, why? Why do you need to go into the comment section? Like, I learned that the hard way. To be honest, I learned that the hard way about going on a rabbit hole with the comment section and going back and forth with people. Then before you know it, you got like 20 people all against you. So you got 20 minds against you when it started with one, and then everybody's just like trying to paddle it down. That was early in my career. Now I'm just like, I ignore any comments. If I see an interesting comment, I was like, I'll comment about it, But any other specific bullshit comments or posts, I tend to avoid the comments unless it's something positive that I want to say something and say like, yo, I agree, man, facts. Like, yes. This shit happens. That's different, Then I get engaged with the artist. I get over with the person, who I made the post, and it becomes a healthy dialogue, It's not like, oh, you're fucking wrong, bro. You're fucking wrong. Like, I disagree with what you say. You're a dumb piece of shit like that. Why that energy? Why?
Yeah, especially on YouTube, there's like, they've created a culture around getting a rise out of people in the comment section. So I also try to avoid the YouTube comment sections. But yeah, it's definitely what's the word? It makes you grow a very thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube comments can be harsh, and hey, I mean, it's an opportunity to grow, but I don't think they post with that idea in mind. I think they post just to get a rise to people and troll and
basically.
Yeah, it's important to know what's going on in that person's life. Like, what is it that's going on with them that they're willing to hide behind a screen and say some stuff about you where they can't be attacked themselves, where they're like, where you're defenseless and they're unattackable because they're anonymous. So like, what must be going on in their life where they have to let out in that kind of way? And then you kind of feel bad for them, or in some way, sympathize with them. They're like, hey man, like whatever you're going through, that you got to be commenting on my post and saying like, yo, you're fucking wrong, man. Like, I'm sorry to hear, but if that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's funny that you say that, because I had that conversation with one of my homies that we went to audio school together, and we were having that discussion that I had a comment, somebody who was a fan of the show and a listener, and he was a guest in my show. commented on one of my episodes about, me telling people stop sending demos to labels, because labels don't, in this world, in this day of age, labels don't give a shit. Labels don't really listen to your music. They only
Yeah.
see you. They only see you and they will only listen to you. Various reasons. One of the main reasons are, one of their artists is playing your music and they notice it and they're like, who did this? Did you do this? No, this so and so. And that's when they check you out. B, when you have a strong social media presence and have a strong pull, and they want to have some of those numbers in their numbers. So that's like one of the major reasons. Like A&Rs in today's world are very lazy. Not all of them. They put that disclaimer again. I'll say like the majority of A&Rs and labels are like that in today's world. There are some and few that are not like that, and they are in it for the community and in it for the people to grow. Samples like Subsidia, Disciple, Rushdown, Ophelia. Then there was a couple of the Root Service. That's Bear Grylls' label, right? Root Services and Funkcase, DPMO. Like, I know those guys are literally listening to demos. I know those guys are commenting, and if they fuck with it, they fuck with it, So I know these guys, those are like the few exceptions to the rule, But the majority then is like, once you got those corporate level labels, like the Never Say Dies and the Circuit Records, not that I have anything against those guys, but at those type of levels, the Spinning Records, the Musical Freedoms, the Bite This, those guys work on a different level. Those guys are looking for like more of a pull, numbers, data than talent. And that's exactly where we're living. We're no longer living in the era in which like we can build an artist based on this label. That thing is no longer happening. Like, if you're gonna be releasing music at this label, you have to be established. You have to be like strong social media bureau. You have to be talented. Absolutely. Like, you have to have a good, strong, talented presence in the music area. But you need to have like the pull. They don't want to build anybody anymore. It's like, I want you to be all this. Back then, it was more of you're a producer, you're a songwriter, you're an engineer, you're a vocalist, and I don't know what you do, but you stay there so you can get our food, okay? Now everybody go to work. Now is you have to be the engineer, the vocalist, the producer, the marketer, the publicist, like everything. Now you have to be and the artist, the DJ, all together. You have to be all wrapped up in a nice little gift. That's how you have to be for labels now, unfortunately. And that's the sad reality. And it's not me saying, I'm talking out of my ass, me saying that like, this is how it works. Like, no, this is stuff that I've talked to A&Rs. I talked to people who work with A&Rs and labels. I talk to artists. I talk artists all the time here in the show, and they can give you their shared experience when it comes to labels. And when the majority of them tells you like, I'd rather stay independent because of that little hassle that they have to go through labels. Like, they don't want that. And sometimes label wants them exclusive, and they're like, nah, like, it's not me. I'm talking out of my ass. Like, no, it's based on the people I talk to, and I give some evidence and experiences and facts about it. Like, I got a whole bunch of notes that I could talk about it, and bam. But no, there's always gonna be the one person's like, no, you're wrong, because that's not how it worked with me. I got accepted by demo submissions. I had to send like 20, and then I got myself with one, and that one is the jump start to my career. It's all thanks to demo submissions. Don't be saying that to people. That's a bad advice, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let me tell you something, man. You said it right there. You already had the similar experiences as me and as others. You said yourself, you had to send 20 demos, 20 for one of them to respond to you. What does that tell you with the other 19? What does that tell you? It tells you like the other 19 are not interested, or they really didn't even open your email or didn't even listen to it. And in that case, you're an exception to the rule, but the exception cannot be the rule. So it's
absolutely. I think when it comes to sending demos to labels, I mean, I don't personally have a lot of experience with that because I'm not really interested in, signing an exclusive contract with a label, and I wouldn't sign to a smaller one. But I think it's less than 50% the actual music that you send, and it's definitely mostly about the the way you present yourself
Mhm.
and your potential in the industry. Because if some Joe Schmo sends me a fire track, all right, that's great. Congrats, you hit one really good track. And I don't know how many more tracks you're gonna pull like this,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it really means for how I can use you in my business. But then you have a celebrity come in, like let's say you have Zac Efron, who's an actor,
Yeah.
come in and say, hey, look, I made this like booty little track. What do you think? And they're like, hey, listen, we'll sign you to Spinning Records just because it's a good look for our company to say that we signed Zac Efron, the celebrity.
Right.
Now, give and take, it's going to be a little bit of everything. They're not going to, if Zac Efron sends them the worst song they've ever heard in their life, they're not going to be like, all right, well, we'll try our best. No, we'll have a master engineer to fix this up for you. Not because that would be more work and cost than it's worth, but they find a good balance between someone that shows that they could be a professional artist that knows that it's not just about the music, that it's also a very strong business aspect to it.
Yeah.
Are good at business, not just music, and also have good music that show that they're going somewhere, that they're telling a story with their songs and their production. And then I think another thing that people forget is that, you look at like the big artists, like you got Excision and Mersive and Virtual Riot, and that's not just one person. Like Excision is actually a team, is a production crew, is not a single person. Jeff Abel is a big part of it. He's the one that started it. He is Excision, but Excision has become a lot more than that now. It's a team of people. There's not just one artist behind the track. There's a whole team of master engineers and vocalists and lyricists. And, you go into the song credits of his songs and it's not just him. He gives all the other people that work with him credit. And he also
takes care of his people.
Yeah, everybody eats. That's super important. Like if anyone wants to grow their business, you got to remember that everyone that's around you has to be growing too. Because a tree can only grow as much as the roots around him are growing as well. You got a tree in a small pot, he's not going to grow very much. But you put a tree in a big pot and you let the roots grow, then the tree grows big too.
That's actually a good analogy. I never heard of it. That's pretty dope.
Yes, sir.
But I do agree with you. Like, yeah, like I forgot that that's like another aspect of the reason why you shouldn't do it. It's all business standpoint, and I get it. Like, I understand their point of view from the label's perspective. Like, I understand it's all business. Like, and that's exactly why they did it. They do it. It is what it is. But at the same time, a little bit of transparency would be nice, a little bit of transparency. Like, you don't have to say like, oh yeah, all your demos are being sent to the spam folder, but at least be a little bit transparent about it, because that's another thing. Like I've heard labels that they have their own spam folder which they put their song, that like their email account, and everything gets delivered to that spam folder, They don't even check it out, bro. And that's how it is. People just don't realize it until I come into the scene and come, oh yeah, no, this label, that's how it works. That's all spam folder. Oh no, this label, yeah, they read their emails. I can tell you.
Yeah, I think it would be a win-win for everyone in the industry if labels were a little more open and just responded like, hey, like we didn't really listen to your demo because honestly, as an artist, you don't seem like you're working very hard. Or like if they told you, oh, like we liked your song a lot, but I don't know if we can really work with you because
it doesn't fit the label's needs or what their label's looking for. Sure.
I'm sure professional way to word it, but a lot of times it's probably for reasons that are hard to put into professional words. Because like they might literally tell someone, hey, they might literally not sign someone because they don't like the way they look. And that's hard to put into a professional email when you're up top. But they have their reasons. Like they know what's good for business and they know what isn't. And unfortunately, sometimes it's very what's the word? Shallow things. Very shallow things. And it's unfortunate, but
yeah. But I mean, you sometimes you gotta be straight to it, sometimes you gotta be a little bit of shallow to others, because you can't just like go ahead and not respond to it and ghost people overall. Like that's not right. Like at least give them a hey, like we got the message. We'll get to it whenever we we got time. And if you did get the time, hey, we listened to it. Fortunately, it's not what we're looking for. Keep sending us more tracks. Better luck next time. That's as transparent you can be, man. You don't have to give them full details, but just like quick, short, simple, straight to the point, and like, just good luck next time, Like I out of like 100 emails that I've ever sent for labels, like I could give you like at least a good 5 that they respond to me, and they gave me their feedback. It's like, yo, it's pretty dope, but it's not what we're looking for right now. But keep sending us stuff. It's like, I appreciate that. You know what? Thank you guys. And you guys are gonna be the first ones to listen my new music, first above everyone else, because at least you took your time and you gave me, you're honest about it and tell me straight up. It's like, it's not good. I take it. I'll take it. At least it gives you a peace of mind, because how many times have you think of like, you send a song to a demo to a label and you don't know whether they listen to it or not. And then, you're still waiting for it, and you're waiting and waiting. And then a month or 2 pass by and all of a sudden, like, it feels like your song itself is like, it lost its touch. It lost its feeling. And then you're feeling bad about it. Like a lot of bad shit happens, and that's where I tell people, it's like, dude, like if they don't respond to you in a month, minimum in 2 weeks, release the song to somewhere else or release it on your own. It's the best way.
So my friend recently told me about something that I'm going to try to look up the exact name, but there is a way that you can send emails that have read receipts.
Oh yeah, the mail track.
Yeah, I actually haven't tried it yet. I don't know how it works or how well it works, but it lets you see opened your message and read it.
No, it's definitely amazing, man. It's in Google Chrome. It's an extension. You just install it for free, and then once you open up and compose an email, at the bottom, just make sure that you remove it. It has like a remove signature or something like that. You remove it. It'll give you a pop-up about, subscribe for a year, blah, blah, blah. You just exit that. And then you can write the entire email that you want. Once you send it, you'll see like it has like 2 little check marks. The green check mark, a first green check mark indicates that they received the email. The second green check mark indicates you that they read the email. That's how I know where my email goes and whether the person read about it or not,
Yeah, that's a requirement for reaching out to labels, because you don't want to be reaching out to the ones that you keep sending and they're not even looking at. Because at that point, it's not even about you; it's more a reflection of them. Yeah, like they're not even looking at these, and then what's the point?
Yeah, I agree, man.
But what's your dream label? If you could get signed to any label in the industry, which one would you want to be signed to?
Monstercat.
That's a great one. I love Monstercat. Oh, that's awesome,
bro. Like that's not even a debate, bro. Like Monstercat Records is first off is like I don't know any other label other than Monstercat that is to be considered the biggest EDM label in the world. Like I don't know anyone bigger than Monstercat, to be honest. It's like literally the only EDM label that releases all sorts of genres. Granted, most of the time they heavily focus on drum and bass, melodic dubstep, future bass stuff, very melodic, but they do release trance music, they do release house, they do release dubstep. Like I don't
just last King.
Huh?
I think I'm not even a year ago, I think they signed Sullivan King as well, so they do everything.
It's what I'm saying, bro. Like fucking Monstercat to me, that's like the ultimate goal. Like if I ever release, or should I say, when I release a song with Monstercat, whether it's a collab or a single or not, to me, I'll be happy. I'll be content with my life. I'll be like, man, I don't need to release more music. Like I put my stamp on it. I let the whole world know. It's like, dude, look how far I made it. I'm in Monstercat. You cannot get any bigger than that, honestly. And that's no throwing shade on any other labels. Working with other labels will be dope as well. But Monstercat is like, dude, that's Monstercat. Like their music gets played everywhere. They have their own radio station that's literally 24/7 playing nonstop Monstercat music. Like Like what are we talking about, man? Like if any other label other than Monstercat, my second will be Disciple for sure. And it's because I have homies in Disciple that, that one day I wish I would want to release at that label, Roundtable, more specifically, either Roundtable or the man doesn't matter. Like, but Roundtable is like the goal for one day to release. And yeah, bro, like those would be my two labels overall. Number one, Monster Cat all the way. And it feels like if I go with Monster Cat, I feel like I have more liberty with my music than I do with any other labels, You get me? Like I can just like do a heavy hitter dubstep, and then the next song is a very happy melodic dubstep. And then the next one could be a drum and bass. And then the next one's a future rhythm, or I don't know, future bass. And the next one could be house or trap, like you name it. Like I feel like they have a very that they're open to listen to music, and they're open for you to be express yourself with whatever you got. So they don't limit you like the Never Say Dies and the Disciples, like all right, it's cool that you do this, but please focus yourself in this because this is what we release. So that's where the limitation goes. And I always feel like I can never be limited by anything, like I have to be limitless. Like I need to have the freedom to do whatever music I want and whatever I feel like I want to release it. And that's how it's supposed to be on every artist. Every artist supposed to feel like that. Like there shouldn't be a shame that you're a bass producer and all of a sudden you want to make house music. Or vice versa. You're a house producer and you want to make bass music. You shouldn't feel shame about it. Do whatever the fuck makes you happy. You're an artist. You're a producer. The fact that you're doing it and others can't do that, that's already unique as it is. That's just like reminds me of what Big and Slim are doing right now, which now they're transitioning to their side project to Double Tap, which is a house. Big and Slim is all about bass. Then Double Tap is all about house. And right now they're receiving a lot of love for it. More love than I can ever imagine. I was like, holy shit, that's dope. And I'm happy for them that they're doing that transition. And I'm pretty sure it was hard. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are complaining about it because it's like, it's Big and Slim. We expect you something bigger and harder, not this house crap. It's like, dude, play whatever the fuck they want to play. It's their lives. They are allowed to do what they want to do as an artist. And as an artist, you're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to evolve. You can't be stuck all the time doing the same crap. I mean, you can, but if you do, make it much more innovative, make it much more interesting, make it much more like, wow, circle back to one of my favorite artists, Skrillex. Look how much he has evolved from being the dubstep fiend that he was all the way to now house.
Yeah.
I may not like it, but damn, I respect it. I respect his evolution. I love that he did that whole evolution because he literally made a huge cross of different genres, and he's happy about it. And it's like that. Well, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be happy doing what you love. If house that's what makes you happy, that makes you happy.
Yeah. Have you heard the song "Supersonic" by Skrillex?
I feel like I have. Yeah.
To you after this podcast. It is so freaking good, dude. So good. And it is, I don't even know if you would know it's Skrillex, because it's so different from the stuff he produced like when he was first starting off. But what are your thoughts on Marshmello, who is now forging his way into the like dubstep scene, like heavy dubstep?
Here's the thing. We all know Marshmello was .com. Is .com. That
is
was
correct.
That is no surprise. So the fact that he's going back to dubstep, it was like I knew that this was coming. Like it. How can I explain this? Like him as .com wasn't going far, and he wasn't going very innovative. It wasn't going in the right direction. But Marshmello, one of the pioneers of future bass, was going places. Marshmello was becoming one of the biggest artists in the world, like DJ Snake, like Skrillex, like Diplo, like Tiesto, like Martin Garrix. Like he became one of the biggest artists in the industry, Marshmello. But I know that because he's .com, he didn't started out with making happy music. He started out with making dubs, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he wanted. Yeah, that heavy hitter shit. That's exactly what he wanted from the get-go. But I'm pretty sure the team, Joe Shalizi told him, it's like, all right, you want to make dubstep, you want to be big at dubstep and shit, whatnot. All right, listen to what I gotta tell you and follow me, and I'll take you there. I'll take you there. But you gotta do what I'm trying to say, and we're gonna make you one of the biggest artists. But this is the route that we had to take. The route they take was future bass, which is like, dude, if you weren't in that future bass wave, man, that you missed it. You know, now you gotta catch the next wave. You know, and that was a huge wave for a lot of people. A lot of people came out. Chainsmokers became future bass. You know, because before there were house, now there's future bass. Now Chainsmokers is one of the biggest artists out there as well. Like a lot of people came out in that future bass crap, bro, and Marshmello became one of the pioneers and the top headliners. And now that he's making dubstep, yeah, because he already fulfilled the role. It's like, I did it. Like, I'm big. Any music that he does up to this point, people are gonna listen to him regardless. It don't matter if the song may suck, but he's still Marshmello.
It's Marshmello. It's got his name on it.
It's got his name on it. It's the brand, you know? And that was the thing. Brand. They need to put the brand to be like, it's a brand. This is what Marshmello represents before he can go back to his dubstep fame. And now that he's doing dubstep right now, I mean, like, he just got nominated for a Grammy on his album. What a fun. A superstar can do that. No, not anybody. A superstar like Marshmello. So shout out to those guys. You know, they did a good job. It was a long journey, but to me, like me saying like, oh, Marshmello should have kept it with .com is like, to be honest, if he would have stayed as .com, I wouldn't think he would have made it that far. He would have probably be at if you look at the headliners on the flyers, you got the big names, and then you got your medium-sized names, and then you got your smaller names. I think he would have been the smaller names if he would have stayed as .com. And that's not throwing any shade on him. It's like I feel like he was gonna reach that far as .com because I'm pretty sure like I listened to his old shit. It's like his old shit wasn't that big of a deal. It was like, okay, it's dope, but it's like other people can do the same thing or better, you know? So you had to do different. And now he's
a good example of experimental bass and another guy who did a very excellent transition that worked a lot in his favor as a new artist. Brills became LS.
And I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah. He used to be doing like, you know, ultra second stage, mainstream bass music. And then he goes into this experimental bass phase, or kind of some people like to call it space bass. And yeah, what do you think of his new LS Dream project?
Honestly, I haven't heard that name in a long time. So I don't know anything about his other projects, to be honest. So like, what's he doing?
Oh, LS Dream is really good. Strongly recommend him. I think he's on Wakon's label now, which is Liquid Stranger's label. And that's a lot of experimental bass as well. And some dubstep, I think. There are some dubstep artists on there, but it's mostly experimental bass. And it is beautiful, dude. Like the music he's making now has far surpassed Brills. So that transition he made, changing artists where, you know, like you said, Brills would have been Brills was headlining shows, but I think he kind of like plateaued and he realized like, oh, if I do this new artist, I'm going to go a lot further with it. That's probably what Marshmello realized too. Yeah. Great move by them. Very strategic. Well done.
I mean, you got to give the shouts to the managers who actually fought that through and think ahead. It's like, this is what's going to work. Like, you don't want to be in this plateau anymore. Let's just go over it. Let's just do this shit. Catch the wave. Bam, they catch the wave, you know? But wow, like, yeah, Brills. Last time I heard about Brills was probably by Maze Days. It's Club Cinema Days, yo. That's the last time I heard about him, man. After that, like, he disappeared. Like, honestly, he disappeared.
Well, he's doing a project now called LS Dream, and he's blown up. He's doing really well.
I mean, kudos for him, man. Now he's actually doing something that, you know, can re-jump start his career once more again, because I'm pretty sure as Brills,
he plateaued.
Yeah, he plateaued, like you said. Like, And I'm pretty sure a lot of people were in that same predicament as well. Like there's a lot of people that I haven't heard in a long time, and I don't know where they are right now. To be honest, it's because they haven't their presence is like, I don't know, they disappear. Like I don't know what happened to. I'm pretty sure they're still making music, but I don't. But not to that level that I will hear about. That I like that they're making some noise. Like Jultron. Jultron is a cool dude, but do you see Jultron as a medium name or bigger name artist?
I haven't seen him on a lot of lineups lately, to be honest.
And that's the thing. Like Jultron is a dope producer, a dope songwriter and everything, but his position in the industry as an artist is plateau as well. It's like I don't think you're ever gonna go big as you're not gonna go as big as a superstar DJ like the DJ Snakes, Chainsmokers, Marshmallows, Tiesto's, and whatnot. I don't know if you're gonna be as big as the Zomboys, the Excisions, and the I don't know, the Nightmares, those guys, like
Unless he changes up, he puts on a helmet and calls himself Marshmallow. No, I'm just kidding. Or he does something to change up his game.
I know, right? That's the only way. That's the only way. And that's how I feel on some of these artists, and it is why I feel like this is the time when you feel like you're plateauing, you're not getting bigger than what you should be. Like that's the time where you start doing other shit. That's where you need to start, evolving yourself with other shit. Perfect example that I didn't know about until not too long ago. 4B. 4B, when he started out, he was all about festival shit. Festival trap, Moombaton, like all that crap. He was I knew 4B as this trap person. And it wasn't until long ago that I realized that was mentioned to me that 4B has a house label and he's playing house. I'm like, when did this happen? Yeah, GTA did the same thing. GTA, Prison Riot, Trap, Moomba, Festival, all that carnival shit and whatnot. And then now they're into house. Now they're playing house music. I'm like, what the fuck? When did this shit happen? And obviously, when they switch over to these genres, people again, and I feel it's that reason. The reason why they're switching that often is not only you're evolving as an artist, but in the business stance, you're getting plateau. You're not surpassing your limits. You're not getting any bigger than that. Like that's as big as you're gonna get, So it's like, and some people are okay with it. Some people are okay to be at that plateau level because I'm pretty sure they feel like I'm good where I am. Like I got everything that I needed. I'm still getting shows. I'm still releasing music. Does it get bigger and better than this? Like I'm still touring. Like I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And then some like they kind of need to do it. It's kind of, I don't know. I see why people do it. Before I was kind of bitter about it, but now as I get older, wiser, I just like I get it. And you know what? Kudos. You should be. That's what you should be doing, man. If you don't want to be stuck in the same path, I don't know what's gonna happen with me. I'm pretty sure I hit my plateau at a certain point, but once I release a song on Monster Cat, that's all gonna change.
That's what I like to hear. I'm excited for that song. I gotta listen to some more of your music.
Absolutely, man. I'll send you a link to all my unreleased shit, and the song that I released last month. I definitely have like 2 future projects that I like to do, and something that I want to present to other artists is I mentioned this about to Skybreak. It's I call these 2 songs one of them is Hope and the other one is Despair. So it's like you can probably guess the direction I'm going on each song, Like Despair is more about the heavy hitter dubstep shit. Like And then you got Hope, in which you're like more of the melodic sense of dubstep, the more happy and flowy shit, and the more energetic, happy stuff, So that's like a project that I'm trying to do to myself, like my own little EP of sorts, like a 2 single EP. But it's something that I want to combine as like, together. This is what these 2 are together. Like you cannot listen one without the other, because if you do it, it's like you lost the whole meaning of both these songs, They have a story overall, and I cannot wait to when I finish it and I can send it over to these artists, to my homies, obviously for feedback, but also to, so they can actually listen to the growth that I am. I cannot wait. And I would love to send it to LA. Oof, Monster Guy would be dope, but we'll see when we get that bridge, And I already had idea to the artwork. Like I already know what I want to do on the artwork. Like in the artwork, I want the artwork of the song itself. Like it's like, like you got the square artwork and then you got a middle line and one side is white and the other side is dark. So you got the light as hope, the light of darkness, and then you got the darkness that shines over the light, hope and despair, basically. And then when you get the song itself, you get the whole side of it, Like you buy despair or you listen to despair, you get the dark version of the artwork. You get hope, you get the light version, and then when you got it together as a group, you get both of them like this together to make sense out of it. It's a very cool project that I had, and I can't wait to do it, man.
I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's basically like where my headspace is at right now, in terms of music wise, that's where I am. I am not in a rush. I'm not planning to release it like anytime soon, but it's definitely something that I'm very eager to do, because I'm trying to do something new on these two tracks. And it just shows like, my growth between them. It just shows like how much like I grow as a person and grow as a producer, Like if you listen to my first song that I ever released or remix that I ever released and you listen to my music now, like you will immediately hear the instant growth that I had over the years. Like it's just like day and night, you can hear the difference. Like holy shit, this guy's like insane. Like it's incredible how he has this from this.
That's important. That's every artist should look to grow in that kind of way. That I know when I listen to like my first tracks, I'm super cringed at like how the production was done. I have one song released under my name. It's gonna be the only song I released under my name. But it was done in a very like quick and poor fashion. And people are like, oh my God, I love your song so much. Like I listen to it all the time. And I tell them, obviously the number one thing you say when someone tells you that is just thank you. You just say thank you, you leave it at that.
Yeah.
But in my head, man, whenever I listen to that song, it's so cringe. Like the production is so poorly done. Like there's so much more I could have done with it. But I had to release it because the song itself was so important to me, and the way I felt, the reason I make music is because it's the only way I know how to express myself in a way that words can't. Because I'm not good at talking, as you can tell. I let you take the floor on a lot of the topics because speaking is like the only way I know how to speak is to make music. Right. So when it was in a really dark place, I was actually sitting in this spot that I'm sitting in right now, and something like really just like hurtful happened to me that I had to go sit down and write this track. And I wrote the basis of the track overnight. I stayed up all night working on it, and that's where I created the base of it. And I was like, man, like this, every time I listen to that song, it takes me right back to that pain and sorrow and hurt that I felt. And it just, that's why I had to release it. Cause I was like, man, like I need to remember that. Like I want people to see how I felt. Like I want people to know like this was something I was going through. And it was painful, and it is hard to like listen to sometimes because it does take me back there, but it's also beautiful because I've grown a lot from it, and it's part of who I am, and it's helped me be where I'm at now. So it production wise, I listen to it and I'm like this song could have been so much better, dude. Like I can't believe I released it. But at the same time, I'm like, man, in terms of like self-expression, that might be one of the best songs I've ever written.
That's actually pretty dope, man. And no, and also it takes guts for you to release music, like it is like, because you get that certain feeling like, oh, I don't know if it's good or bad. And trust me, every artist feel the same way when they release their music. They always says like, fuck, I can't believe I fucked that part out. Like I could have done a better job. Like, you know who does that a lot? Tynan.
Yeah.
Every time he releases a song, he always regrets one thing. It's like, fuck, I wish I could have done it better. It's hilarious. Because I'm here like, dude, your fucking music is fucking rad. I don't know what the fuck are you talking about. It's like, no, but it could have been better, man, because I fucked this frequency out. I left this part. It could have been la la la. I'm like, all right, bro. First world problems. I get it, bro. But yeah,
big artist problems.
Yeah, I know, right? But
it's good to other artists feel that way too, because yeah, there is a lot of anxiety around releasing
Oh
tracks.
yeah, bro. Don't ever feel shameful about it because everybody goes for the same for every fucking artist, no matter how big or how bad the song is. Every artist goes through that same feelings. Like I feel like saying, yeah, even myself, I have released music in which I said myself like, "Fuck, what the hell was I thinking?" And sometimes are the songs that people really fucking love it. I had people
Yeah.
love certain music that I created that I felt like this is like the worst shit I've ever did. And I'm never playing this song in any of my sets ever. I'm not even considering putting it on my phone to listen to. Like, no, I hate it. And it so happens that they're like the most played music of them all. I don't know
That's it.
how. It's wild. It's wild, but I tell you, it happens. Everybody gets through that passage, like the best we could do is just like, all right, if I didn't like how it sounded like this, okay, now I know what to do on the next project. I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't sound like that, and I get better, and then you continue on, so on and so on, and that's how you learn. What's going on, everyone? If you guys made it all the way to the end of the episode and you feel kind of left out, like why didn't the episode finish? Like, don't worry, guys. It's okay. The episode was way too big for me to put it in just one episode that I had to divide the episode because there was so many good content and so many good topics and discussions that it cannot be discussed under one episode, but had to divide it so we can always have brand new episodes with brand new topics every Friday. Always remember that. So be sure to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and of course the YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's right, lonewolfpod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. And always remember to comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a certain topic that you want me to cover for the next episode, please let me know on the comments down below, and I'll do my best to do so. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Deuces.